Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We'll discuss how technology is simplifying internal loan reviews and credit analysis. And we are fortunate to have a banker's perspective with us for that today. My name's Sean O'Brien. I'm the president of QuickRate. And I'm really have the easy part of today's presentation. I'll let the next two gentlemen introduce themselves. First, David Littleton, who will kind of moderate our discussion today. David, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, hi, I'm Director of Data Analytics and Product Management at IntelliCredit. So I work closely with clients and their loan data and loan analysis, as well as the design of our software tool that we will take a look at today.
Great, thanks, David. And also, I'd like to introduce Mitch Moss, who's a Senior VP Credit Analyst at Outdoor Bank and was willing to join us on today's demo. Mitch, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Hi, I'm Mitch Moss, a Senior Vice President and Credit Analyst with Outdoor Bank. Just excited to join the IntelliCredit crew to give my perspective. We've been with the program for about a year, and we'll go a little deeper into it later on what we're using and how we're using and the benefits that we receive. So thanks again, Sean and David.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mitch, for joining us today. I think your perspective is tremendously valuable to our audience today. Just a reminder of a couple of things housekeeping wise. As with all of our webinars, we will send out a link to today's recording and a copy of the slide deck in an email that will likely go out probably late tomorrow afternoon or early Friday. Also today, if you have any questions, you can submit those in the Q&A box or the chat feature. I'll monitor those, and we'll either take those in the midst of the discussion or at the end of the presentation today. Just a reminder, we're talking about IntelliCredit today. As you know, for most of you who've been on a QuickRate webinar, right, over the last 5 or 6 years, we really tried to expand some of the solutions that we've offered to community banks. I think we particularly placed an emphasis on, technology that could be actually deployed in the bank, and hopefully again find ways to make what you're doing today be done a bit more efficiently. So IntelliCredit is our latest example of that, and also many of you may be familiar already with QuickRate and obviously Quick Analytics. Just a little bit about IntelliCredit for those of you who've heard about it but maybe aren't completely familiar with what we've been up to. David Littleton, David Ruffin, Larry Poole, and the team, they've been busy with loan reviews. We actually have 70 clients in 28 states. So I think we're particularly proud of the technology and the software we're using, not only for, as we'll discuss today, internally at the bank, but we use it in our external reviews that we conduct with our banks. We think that that ease of use and the efficiencies that are being seen in the loan review process has really been instrumental in our growth. We continue to improve the product, but again, we were excited about the progress that our team has made. As with many of our webinars here, more recently, we've started off with just a few polling questions. I'm going to do that here now. Let me go ahead and get the first one up. So we just have 3 questions that we wanted to get your input on today. So we appreciate if you participate. First question is, what software do you utilize for your loan review process? So just a single choice. Some of you may use more than these, but we'll just give this 30 seconds or so and then share the results. These polling questions will also be part of the email that we send out to all of you who registered. So just a sidebar on that. Any of our webinars that you do register for, you'll always receive the email with the link to the recording and a copy of the slides. Okay, so we'll go ahead and end this one. Let's just see, there's a couple more people answering. 56% are using Excel, 11% Word, 28% a third-party software, and 6% a software provided by their core system. So thank you for participating there. Let's see. All right, let's stop sharing that. We'll go back to the next question here. Second up, around annual reviews. Do you perform annual reviews in-house? So a simple just yes or no question on this one. And again, we'll just give it 30 seconds or so to get started. All right. So this one's pretty overwhelmingly, being conducted in-house. Everybody who responded are in fact conducting those in-house. And then the final question is kind of the next one. Are your loan reviews handled internally or externally? Again, a single choice here. So we'll give this 30 seconds. And again, thank you all for participating on those. And this one. And so right now, let's see, we'll share those results. 70% internally, 30% externally. So again, great. Hopefully today you'll be able to see how, excuse me, the application we have here in IntelliCredit might aid and benefit, what you're doing already today. So let me stop sharing this one. Move the polling questions on. At this point, I am going to pass it over to you, David. So I'm going to stop sharing and you can take the screen at your ready. I can see your screen.
Great. Thanks, Sean. So, so today we're going to talk a little bit about IntelliCredit's software solution for credit analysis, as well as loan reviews and annual reviews as well. And of course, get Mitch's perspective on how Outdoor Bank and he have used the tool to build up their credit review process at their bank. So obviously we just saw that a lot of the participants today utilize Word or Excel for their credit reviews. And so really Excel, of course, is built to do just about anything that you want to do, whereas a software platform such as IntelliCredit is really built to do exactly what you want it to do, specifically for credit reviews and loan analytics. So the loan reviews we offer effective and efficient loan reviews that can help your institution better understand the portfolio and identify potential risk exposures. So of course that is standard for any review. But what IntelliCredit does is we really make the process as simple and as streamlined as really is feasible, and provides reviews and the review results in an organized and in an efficient fashion that really a lot of the hurdles that you have to jump through when working with Microsoft products really are automated within IntelliCredit. And that provides a lot of consistency from the reports that you're building, as well as the ability to collaborate between individuals within the platform. And then there's the credit analysis side, which is coupled in the application with the review capabilities. And your loan portfolio data is your DNA. It's who you are, and understanding what that is through data analytics is really important and a fundamental component of credit risk management. And so proactively trying to master and understand who your identity is very, very important. And we'll get into some of these more specific examples later on, but really the overarching goal of the credit analysis side of IntelliCredit is transitioning from the what to the why. So it's one thing to understand what percentage of your loans are criticized, classified, non-accrual, so on, and other categories, but really understanding why or how we got to the figure we are, and how that figure has changed over time, and which loans those are that are driving that particular figure. And lastly, it's regulators, of course, are going to come in armed with information about your portfolio and their own narrative around your risk profile. But being proactive in understanding yourself can really just be one of the strongest rebuttals to any concerns that a regulator may have. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Mitch to introduce a little bit of the context of Outdoor Bank as well as himself. So take it away, Mitch.
All right. Thanks, David. And again, glad to be a part to give my perspective. I'm with Outdoor Bank. We're a community bank based out of Manhattan, Kansas, but we reach from really the western half of Kansas all the way to the eastern half. Pretty large footprint and a pretty diverse book of business, from agriculture out in western Kansas to highly commercial in the greater Kansas City area, Overland Park specifically. Since in the last 5 years, our bank's experienced growth of about 220 million in assets to nearly 500 million today, which with our diversity and our growth, needing not just a platform for analyzation, knowing where we are, tracking new loans, status of loans, all the above, mix of loans, concentration. We really had the need for a platform, and not just the analytics side, but for the credit review side. And, early on in that growth, when I joined the bank, we were utilizing spreadsheets and, to actually create that environment for a credit review, it was a lot of manual work and, trying to put a stop in to track what number of loans, dollar volume of loans, risk rating of loans compared to your total loans on that particular day. It was doable and it worked, but it was hard to track and hard to pin down. And then moving forward to new credit reviews and new loans, you always had a moving target. But we've been with IntelliCredit since October of 2022. We're utilizing a team of 3 of us in the bank to perform loan admin, oversight, and credit review, utilizing the tool. And then we're also utilizing the reporting functions of it for not just board reporting, but other reporting to executives around the bank. So that's a little bit about my background and just an intro into how we're using it and the need we found and the gap that this has filled. Yeah, and just, building up your internal credit review program, easily accessing changes from period to period, and easily identifying your top borrowers and concentrations of credit. That's a big function that the tool uses, that allows us to use to drill down into our data. And every month I'll upload our data, and we can track it from period to period. And that's what this snapshot and drill down is. It gets very granular, and you can see changes in your watch list, classified, substandard, new loans, rates, past due, trends, anything and everything. This will track for you, and that will come out with some standard reports, and it gives you targets from all of that data. So, if you have a credit review objective that you're going to look at X amount of percent of your portfolio, this allows you to really find, a hot spot or a segment or an industry that, you may see that you're experiencing some trouble before you would realize there's trouble. So that's a very important piece of this, the tool. And another thing we use it for is to build and incorporate our relationships. And within the tool, you can assign relationships among borrowers and their entities or related entities very simply and on the fly. And that sticks with the program, so you can track growth within those relationships and view their balance and overall exposure for your board reporting, and just to see a good view of how they stack up in your portfolio. And the concentrations, not just with relationships, but with industries, and your standard capital plus your allowance for credit losses ratios, to look at all your different industries to hit your benchmarks and make sure you are moving along to policy and tracking any growth in areas that was expected or unexpected. So.
Yeah, and so I'll pivot really quickly to the IntelliCredit application here and show a couple examples just to give an idea more specifically of what Mitch has just described. So we work with many banks, and one weakness that we've identified in the data that we see from banks is relationship groupings. And so we built this tool that's very, very easy to use that essentially allows you to search for any particular loan or group of loans or borrower, and essentially just say, hey, all of these loans here are related. So I'm going to put them all in this one single particular relationship and just hit apply. And then all those loans are now in the same relationship. And then when you're in the analytics tool and looking through your top relationships, all of that information is automatically integrated and reflected in these relationship reports. And so here we're looking at your top relationships. You can very easily look at top 10 or even top 50 and see what the concentration of capital is and so on. You can even show this by industry, as Mitch pointed out. And then he also mentioned this credit overview page where you can very easily see summary information about two particular points in time in the portfolio, and very quickly reference the change that's occurred between those points in time. So if we see a $2 million increase in classified here, for example, I can click on that and get a breakdown of how we got to that $2 million change. So we have $2.5 million that were added, $500,000 removed, and there we get to that $2 million bottom line figure. And here are the loans that were part of that change. So one loan upgraded and two loans added to classified. So that type of drill down is true throughout, or is present throughout the application, and can really be a big part of how you get from the what to the why. And lastly, the concentration report that Mitch mentioned here, you can easily reference your percentages of capital or your concentration figures for every product type in the portfolio, as well as any custom product type. So I could do ag, for example. I could do regulatory CRE or regulatory C&D. Very, very quick and easy ways to reference these numbers about your portfolio. So going to the next slide here about the loan review process. So I'll let you take it away, Mitch.
Yeah, and that's not to say that leading out of the last slide and into this one, that this wasn't anything that our bank or any bank isn't already doing, but the simplification and the eliminating manual work. Once you have everything integrated, it alleviates tracking down reports, tracking down data, and building reports in Excel and all of that. It's just at your fingertips. So that elimination of manual work, along with my earlier comment, leads to the loan review process, and that this tool really allows for tracking. And by creating those credit review environments that, as I mentioned, if you're trying to do it on your own by Excel and putting a stop and creating an environment, once you think you have things pegged, then things change. Loans get payments, they get advances, they get paid off, they get upgraded or downgraded. This gets you a static environment from that data set to have your scoreboard, what we call it, to show your progress on your credit reviews. And it allows on an individual borrower credit review or the relationship, and those relationships just roll right in. And really it's massive, the amount of fields that you're able to import into IntelliCredit, and David's a great help on the programming side and getting cores to talk with IntelliCredit, and it just it's seamless, and it allows a lot of loan info to be put in there, whereas if you're doing it yourself in Excel, it's a lot of manual work. And then within individual review output, if you have any ancillary docs, a different collateral doc, a tax return spread that goes along with your findings in the tool, they've added the ability to attach that to the output. So you have kind of a packet per borrower or relationship that you're reviewing. And then another very big part is the exception tracking and curing exceptions that are found. And this is something that we're really just stepping into, and it you can push the exceptions out to the individual officers or loan staff. Hey, we're missing our 2022 tax return, and they can fire back and say, well, it was on an extension and you should receive it by the end of October. That's a very big piece that we're really just beginning to utilize. So that's a little bit about the loan review process there.
Yeah, thanks. So I'll pivot over and give another visual of some of the things that you touched on. So going over to the loan review portion of the app, we were just at the analytics tool previously. So within this tool, as Mitch pointed out, with all your reports, it's very easily to track all of that. So what you're looking at here is within a given review period, which can be any duration that suits your team. We give you a table showing you all the loans that have been reviewed during that period, and with summary information and so on. And all of those reports are very easily exportable. So you can export this table to PDF or Excel. You can bundle all the PDFs together, all the individual relationship reports together, and export those into a single zip file very easily. But even right within the tool, I can click on a particular borrower name and pull up the relationship the report for that borrower or for that relationship. And so this format is automatically generated. So when you're focused on completing the reviews, you're focused purely on content, and all of the form and function is done automatically for you. So this is the standard format here, which has all your findings from the review, depending on the complexity of the review, of course. And then any appendices that as Mitch mentioned, you can add any sort of appendices from a spread, a different PDF, and so on. Those appear on the bottom. And so if I exported this to Excel, you would actually see it. It's hyperlinked just because I'm in the browser here. But when you download it shows up as an appendix. And so that's a very powerful tool in being able to not only incorporate the information that's in IntelliCredit, but also adding any sort of ancillary documents as well. And so right here, in the same area as the loan review reports, are the exceptions, different types of exceptions. So all of your exceptions are listed out here for easy tracking purposes. And again, this is based on a specific review period. And this, of course, can be exported and used for any existing internal exceptions tracking function. But further, we give you the ability, should you choose to utilize it, to upload documentation right within this portal, and even clear exceptions right within the portal by setting the status here from cleared. So first and foremost, very easy to see a list of all the exceptions and the type of exception and the loan and the loan officer and so on. But we also give you tools to manage that within the portal, should you choose to utilize them as well. So next section here, go ahead, Mitch.
Yeah, and with the analysis, if you look at what I export from our core and import into the tool, I mean, it's really turning raw data into really actionable information. And this allows you not just to have, data, but you can be proactive and reactive by having custom queries to look at, segments of loans or types of loans, any of that, just to see where your growth has been, or if you have any deterioration, anything along those lines. It really gives you a good way to see where your new loans and renewals are from period to period, with payments and advances considered. You can say from, August 31st to September 30th, our loans grew $5 million, but that doesn't take into account all the existing advances and pay downs that you had in that time. And this will quantify that to see what your existing portfolio did, with loans on the books compared to loans that were fully paid off and new loans that were booked. And then I've been using this to query out groups for CECL calculation, just for individual loans, watch list loans, loans secured by deposits, and guaranteed loans. And it really makes it very simplified compared to the reports I would be pulling out of the core or just the raw data that I'd be manipulating in Excel. And then we're really, along with the exception tracking, looking at our future ability to use the tool and reports for industry and loan by loan stress testing. And that's kind of an uphill chore to get all of that into the core, into the tool, to have actionable data to look at debt service, LTVs, anything that would be related to loan by loan or industry stress testing, excuse me.
Yeah, and so going back to the analytics tool here. So really what Mitch is highlighting, and there was a lot there, I'll just cover a couple things, is some of the custom report building capabilities from within this query tool. So you can set up custom queries to filter the portfolio based on any sort of custom metrics that are in any data point that's available in your data. And you can save all of those so that I can easily reference a list of all of my non-pass loans. I can easily reference relationships that are due for a review. I have a new originations that are currently non-pass report and so on. So any area of focus or type of loans based on data points that you want to be able to track, you can very, very easily track that within this tool. And further, within one of these reports, so if we're back on this homepage where we're comparing the difference between the portfolio, or actually I'll click on this next loan quality indicators report where we're showing some various credit quality metrics about the portfolio. This is obviously showing the total portfolio by default, but you can save various filters within this. So if I have an SBA concentration, and this data is a few years old, obviously PPP is phasing out. But if I have an SBA concentration, I can hit include to show just this portfolio, showing just my 8 SBA loans in this case. Or I could exclude my PPP loans and look at my COVID loans. And this is all totally customizable so that within these reports that we're looking at, you can look at trends and analyze the total portfolio, but then also any custom group of loans based on filters that you can create. So lots of flexibility there in viewing the data that you want to see just in these reports here, as well as that custom report building in the query builder. So yeah, next one here, take it away, Mitch.
Yeah, and as you've seen from all of the examples that David's done, you really have at a glance data reports at your fingertips, and that snapshot and drill down, as you could see when he was floating his mouse around, every segment, balance, number was hyperlinked to drill down into a further granular set of data for that whatever you were able to click on. I mean, you just click and go deeper and go deeper. And
just like that.
Just like that. And anything that catches your eye, if there was a negative growth or large growth, you can click right on it. And then if you might jump to the past due or risk grade distribution, David, so you can see balances by risk rating there, and the past due or rates, you can see if you're pricing according to risk. And it just gives you a kind of a red yellow, hey, we've got some special mention loans that are really low rates. Were these TDRs, or are they just loans that haven't repriced yet? It puts that just right on a dashboard in front of you to see that, where through your core's financial or your CFO's financials or any other reporting that you do, you have a lot of homework to do to get to those numbers. So it's a really, really robust tool to be able to do all of this just with the stock links that they have, and you can, it's endless what you can do with it. So And yeah, I mean, it's literally at your fingertips through your mouse. So it's a lot of valuable information.
Yeah. So we kind of did a hybrid there. So I'll just go to the next one here.
Yeah. And David will go through kind of how you generate a report packet and the ability to customize that. He already kind of touched on the industry concentrations and that ability to further customize those, and really to kind of wrap things up on my part, the credit review reporting there, what you're going to show to your board of directors or any other stakeholders in the bank. It's just an easy snapshot that you're going to generate. And then that exception tracking, which we're hoping to really utilize, and then risk grade information on upgrade, downgrade, growth within any classified loans or reduction or working loans out of the bank. It really helps you visualize is the key component of that comment. So
yeah, so back in the tool here, these reports that we've been clicking through on the left hand side are all set up currently in the IntelliCredit default configuration, or the default template. And this template can be very easily exported into a PDF. So I just hit generate report up here in the header, select all, and I can download that report, and it just takes a few seconds. And I'll open this one up just as an example here. So I just downloaded it. So let's go here, and here's this report based on that default configuration. But what you can do is you can save various, I've shown just the tip of the iceberg of the number of customizations that you can do here, but you can really work this data to show the information that you want to see in the way that you want to see it. And you can save those templates and have various report configurations here. So if I click on this one, I have here called my custom template, you'll see I got a few extra reports here, one of which is called a watch list report that I've created and saved, and a loan officer report here, and in addition to some of my typical reports. And again, just the tip of the iceberg and what you can customize. But then based on all these customizations, you can generate a report in the same fashion that shows all of your custom changes to the tool. So really easy reporting there from the data analysis side. And then from the loan review side, we give you very, very powerful tools that are completely and reports that are completely automated from the loan review standpoint, so that your loan review team can see over the course of 1 month, 1 quarter, 1 year, or any time period, how many loans have been reviewed, as you're seeing here, and in which product types, and what the balances were, as well as tons of other reports. So I can easily see what balances have the loan review team recommended risk grade changes for, and what percentage of the balances did that represent. How, based on those recommendations, how would the portfolio, or how would the sample of loans, how would the distribution of risk change between pre-loan review grades and post-loan review grades? And really, we don't have the time to go into all the different reports here, but essentially they're just tons and tons of reports that give you aggregate information about the findings of your loan review team within, again, any given review period from 1 month, 2 month, quarter, year, so on. So again, lots of very, very powerful reporting tools to help you report those findings to your board and to management. So again, thank you very much for talking about your experiences, Mitch. Just to wrap up here, we want to talk about what it's like to get started on IntelliCredit. So we use a web-based tool that's SOC 2 certified and very secure. But most importantly, being web-based, the onboarding for your IT is very, very simple. And we actually, oftentimes clients we work with are surprised by how simple the onboarding process is. There's no integration, technically speaking, to the core. We just take a data extract and upload it into the system. And we typically do that. We recommend you do that at least monthly. We have a few banks that do it multiple times per month based on when they have scheduled meetings and so on. But that is all up to you. And the time to get up and running is very quick. Once we have your data, we can get you up and running in a matter of days. And so just to visualize how this fits into the broader IntelliCredit offering. So on the left-hand side, we have the IntelliCredit software offerings, from an annual review functionality, the loan review, and the portfolio analytics. And then we also do loan review third party externally. I know we did the poll question. We have about a quarter or a third of the participants doing external loan review. IntelliCredit does those as well, and the elevator speech or pitch for that is that we use very, very seasoned and experienced reviewers that have been in the industry for quite a long time and have lots of experience, as well as we have a very strong documentation as well as credit focus for those reviews. So if you have any questions for Mitch, I have his email on the screen here, as well as his LinkedIn, and you can also use the chat in the presentation here. But if you would like a demo or have any questions or would like to discuss more with myself and the IntelliCredit team, you can email us at info@intellicredit.com or visit our website, intellicredit.com. Sean, have there been any questions in the chat?
No, there is not.
Okay.
But just want to thank David and Mitch for driving today's presentation. I think a comment Mitch made during his one of his slides, about the elimination of manual work. I think that really kind of gets to the heart of one of the things that we've tried to do with our technologies here at Quick Analytics and IntelliCredit, right? Oftentimes at the bank, we want to deploy revolutionary technology. Oftentimes what we really should focus a little more on is evolutionary technologies, which really kind of make all of us in our institutions more efficient. We hope IntelliCredit is one of those examples where we can do that on the loan side a number of different ways, particularly in the credit administration area. So again, as David indicated, we'd love to demo this for you if you're interested. Certainly look forward to future webinars like this, where again we'll just try to further demonstrate the value that we think the application can have for you and your team at the bank. And I think in closing, just open it up. Thank Mitch for joining us, but it's just open up to David and Mitch for one final time for any final thoughts or parting words for our audience today.
Mitch, you any parting thoughts?
No, I just would encourage any participants in this webinar to, if you have a gap to fill, definitely just work with these guys for a demo, and I think it'll really open your eyes to what they can do. And there's some quality people behind it that have a lot of expertise and are very easy to work with, and they can find solutions if it doesn't quite work well for you. But I can just say that we've been more than happy in the year that we've been with the tool and with these guys, and it's a very good team. So that's my endorsement. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Mitch.
Yeah, thanks, Mitch. You also are great to work with. So, but yeah, I just would love to talk to more banks, and looking forward to helping you all with your internal credit review teams.
Great. Well, thanks on behalf of David and Mitch. Again, thanks to Mitch for joining us. Again, look for an email next week with a link to the recording and a copy of the slide deck and responses to the poll questions. And we'll look forward to seeing or hearing from you on a future webinar. Thanks a lot for joining us today, and have a great day.